All right, Tuesday, July 29th. Man, we're running out of July here. It is slipping through the hourglass quickly. The grains of sand. We're going to be out of July before you know it, into August before you know it. That means we're getting closer and closer to football. Welcome back to Damon Bruce Plus. As always, we're brought to you by Ike Sandwiches, our good friends at the Dubliner West Portal. Man, it is really great to have you here. And all I can tell you that there is a lot of excitement about this 49er rookie class. I remember the 49er rookie class being poo-pooed when it actually happened. I saw bad grades. I saw way too many reaches. I saw, I don't know. And I told everyone, look, you don't know. You just absolutely don't know. And the truth is we still don't know because these guys haven't played actual NFL football yet. They're going through some actual NFL practices. And I'll tell you, just surviving those alone is a difficult thing to do. But man, oh man, let me tell you, I'm going to give you the same warning that I give all my kids, my two boys. You can eat all the cookies you want, but don't be surprised when you get a bellyache. I think there's an awful lot of reasons to get excited about these rookies. I mean, get excited about these 49ers rookies. They needed to get younger. They are getting younger. There is reason to be excited. I really like Mykel Williams. I really like Alfred Collins. I really like CJ West. I really like Nick Martin. I really like Upton Stout now, having seen him and how physical that little guy is out there in full pads. I like these guys. You should like these guys. But just remember, placing faith in a season in the hands of rookies is asking for anxiety. There will be some growing pains. It's going to happen. So look, remember this when the 49ers dump a game that they probably shouldn't dump. That's going to happen in the regular season. And it's probably going to happen because of some rookie mistake, because that's what rookies do. They make mistakes. So I'm here to tell you, get excited. But I'm also here to tell you that the vehicle that you're driving your excitement through, you're riding that rookie car right now. You're so excited to be in it. Just know it's not going to be the smoothest trip. I mean, remember that. And just as the season starts unfolding, just remember this moment. Remember that there will be a couple steps backwards for every step forward that this group takes. I really believe that. I really, really believe that. And Shanahan's talking about a new 3-year window. I know no one wants to hear about the Super Bowl that they're going to win next season or 2 seasons from now. You want to win one now. I get it. But the odds of them winning it all right now, relying on this many rookies, probably won't be as good as it will be the following year when an entire rookie class has got a season under its belt. I'm excited for this rookie class, though. You should be too, and we are officially getting closer and closer to
Maximum
I tell you, man, Mykel Williams looks so good in pads. I wish I could bring all of you to training camp and get you a better seat than anyone else who is a fan there sitting in training camp has. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But this guy, I think, is going to be quickly, he's going to become a player that people are talking about. Mykel Williams has flown very much under the radar because the 49ers have so many holes that they're trying to fill with rookies. The responsibility of overperforming rookies, that crown is being placed on an awful lot of heads, like a Christian Wilkins forehead kiss, apparently, with the Raiders. Alfred Collins, this guy is bigger than any football player you've probably ever seen with your own 2 eyes. CJ West is just ready to go. I mean, he's not as big as Collins, and I think that's going to help him because this is going to be, as Kruger famously says, leverage McLeverage. I mean, CJ West is going to be under dude's pads with some of the strongest rookie hands you're going to find in football, and this guy is going to move some bodies. The 49ers will move piles as defense just between Collins and CJ West. Nick Martin, obviously the linebacker out of Oklahoma State, which in the moment everybody said this is a reach. I don't know about Alfred. I don't know about Nick Martin. Look, very intriguing athleticism with Nick Martin. There is a player in there for Robert Saleh to unearth. There's no doubt. This guy is going to be a good player. You can just see it. Upton Stout, again, the biggest, I think, maybe question mark on the board, considering they drafted him to be a starting nickel. And when you see him, you realize just how small this guy is. And it's concerning, like how small he is. But then you see him in pads. And it's amazing how when some guys put pads on, they actually grow 2.5 feet. And Upton Stout is one of those guys who gets 2.5 feet taller every single time he puts NFL pads on. He looks so physical. He looks so ready for contact. I saw the Dave Lombardi story that Diamador Lenore said that Upton Stout called him to come over and watch tape with him one afternoon. And since then, everything just started making more sense. I love that. First of all, I love rookies reaching out to veterans saying, hey, help me. I love it when a veteran reaches back to a rookie and says, yes, I will help you. That's fantastic. That's leadership. And this is why I think that Diamador Lenore is about to have just a monster season. I think this is going to be the year that the NFL officially meets and greets Diamador Lenore as one of the premier corners in the entire league, not just on the 49ers. And cheers to that, because if that happens, everything gets a whole lot easier. That's for sure. Sip of the day. Perfect. That was, we're happy right now. Good coffee, good show, hopefully a good show, a great audience. Thank you so much for being here. It's great to see so many of you. By the way, what do we got? A brand new member this morning, Brian Bernard. Does that really count? Because Brian's an actual friend of mine, like a guy who's had dinner in my living room. So I don't know if that counts. Like I earned it, or maybe Brian was just feeling a little bad for me and was like, here's $6, buddy. Either way, Brian, welcome to The Initiated. It is great to have you here. Thank you so very much. We got our friend SGA Sports Talk in the house. Great to see you. Chicago Jason wants to know, what sucks more, Jake Moody or Chicago humidity? Well, look, Chicago humidity is enough to ruin a great day in Chicago. And a few missed Jake Moody kicks are enough to ruin, a Super Bowl and NFL season. But I will say this, forget about what happened. What's happening is this guy has been pretty much perfect so far in camp. So I'm going to say that Chicago humidity is more your enemy than anything Jake Moody is doing right now. Oh, we got Stacy here on time today. Thank you for reporting to duty. Really appreciate it, Stacy. We got Chef A. Oh, yes. So go the days of our lives. Yes. Yes. I like days with a Z. I know anyone who spells the word days with a Z knows where the good weed is. So cheers, Chef A. I appreciate that. We will talk about a major part of the death of my childhood. It's funny. I was just talking to Bob Sargent, who is the Niners director of broadcasting. He used to work at KNBR when I worked at KNBR. I've known Bob for years. Great guy. And we were just talking about how, my friend Greg one day and I were talking about what's going to make you feel old one day. And Greg said, when Michael Jordan dies, I'm going to feel old. And I was just telling that to Bob at practice the other day. And he's like, yeah, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it. And then Ron Sandberg dies. Another Chicago great who wore the number 23. And I officially feel old. I mean, I feel old anyways, but that really, Ryne Sandberg, man, that is, we're talking about the most sepia tone special baseball memories of my life are Ryne Sandberg, Mark Grace, Shawan Dunston, Jerome Walton, Dwight Smith, Andre Dawson, Greg Maddux, Hector Villanueva. Those were my Cubs, baby. R.I.P. Rhino. We'll have a little segment on Rhino in a bit. But right now we're talking some 49ers hoops. And look, we're talking the cookies. We're talking the rookies. And if you eat too many, you might get sick. And as I'm warning you about not overeating your rookie cookie excitement, let me give you two more rookies to get excited about. Because there are two Jordans, Jordan Watkins, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss, who looks so polished. I mean, just so polished. And the thing that I think has Kyle Shanahan turn away from his rookie wide receivers in terms of trusting them or wanting to play them is they're not polished. They're not ready to go. This guy looks really, really comfortable out there. Jordan Watkins has been impressive. Nobody of all the wide receivers has been more impressive than Demarcus Robinson so far of the 49ers, in my opinion. But Jordan Watkins is not far away. And then Jordan James, the running back out of Oregon, has also been very, very impressive early going. So there are two more rookies to be placing hope in. And again, careful with the rookie hope. Careful with it. It's going to come back and bite you eventually, but I really think more realistically is after you go through some growing pains, it's really going to pay off. I wouldn't be surprised if like 6 years from now, and the Niners really did go out and win themselves a Super Bowl, we're going to look at this rookie class as a major reason why. I think they're going to be right in the middle of the next 3 to 4 year conversation about this franchise we're going to have. And if they all work out well and play well, I mean, my God, the 49ers are going to get better quickly. And if they all struggle, if they are all misses, the 49ers are going to fall off the map. That's how bad things would get if this entire rookie class. And Alfred Collins is a huge disappointment. And CJ West, as excited we were, kind of sucks. And Nick Martin isn't very good. And you can forget about both the Jordans. And, it's these guys really matter. And they will be the ones who keep Kyle Shanahan, this team's head coach, or be part of the reasons why they're moving on a couple of years from now. I got to tell you, Marquise Siegel, this safety out of Kansas State, a 5th rounder, he is all over that practice field. Jair Brown, I know not part of this rookie class, but Jair Brown looked totally in command yesterday, really looked good. I'm glad that I made it down to practice. Practice for a media member, I think, is a really important thing. Practice for fans who get to go in there is exciting, I think, for a moment or two, and then you sort of get bored by the afternoon. And I got to be honest, I don't know how well the 49ers have set up their fans to attend training camp in terms of how other fans get treated. It feels like you're kind of afterthoughts when you go in there. And I'm not trying to rip the 49ers here, because they have reconfigured their practice field. They're figuring it all out, but they put the fans way back in the corner. Like, those fans are not really anywhere near the players. And when the players are working out, they could be 3 football fields away from you. And where the fans are sitting is not by where the players come in and out of their lockers. So it's not like you got a lot of up-close player-fan interaction unless the player actually walks over deliberately to the fan section. I had a guy who made this comment on the Day One in Pads video that I made. I was down there for Day One in Pads, and apparently this gentleman was too. His NFL guy 4949 is his online moniker. And he wrote me a long comment about his experience going to training camp, and it's not positive. Again, this is football practice. I can see how just being there for a minute would be really cool. If you got to pay like $40 to get in, okay, in the grand scheme of things. I heard that there are tickets like on the resale market going for $300-$400 to go to 49ers training camp. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you got somebody who's going to hook you up and connect you with tickets, fine. Go ahead. Take a day off of work. Enjoy yourself. Go down and experience something you've probably never seen before. But to go out of your way, either geographically or financially, to go to training camp, that's fool's gold. Don't do it. Don't do it. Take Uncle Damon's advice, okay? Listen to NFL Guy 4949. He wrote me on this comment on the channel yesterday. Says, Damon, I've been a 49er diehard for decades, but this was complete bullshit. My wife and daughter got training camp tickets and flew from Dallas to Santa Clara so they could attend on Friday, July 25th. Okay, you never get on an airplane to go to football practice. Okay, that's your first mistake right there. They arrived an hour before gates open. The designated fan section is 100+ yards from where the players exit the locker room building. On that side of the tent is a setup with tables and chairs, and all the players walk right by it on the way to the field. That section must be some kind of VIP friends. Yes, and it is. That's VIP. That's player family. That's Jed York's crew. It's a different deal than what you get. Regular fans who purchase tickets to one of the very few training camp days, fans are placed in an area that is very far from where the players walk out, and most of the practice and drills are conducted. There were no cheerleaders or Lynch or coaches or players interacting with the fan section. Only one player, Kittle, walked over after practice and signed autographs for a handful of fans for about 2 minutes, and then he left. Then fans were told to leave. Now, on Sunday, July 26th, when NFL Network was down there, the 49ers camp suddenly had cheerleaders and players and even John Lynch interacting with fans, plus multiple players were signing autographs. So when the national cameras are around, they treat fans with respect? Question mark. It's such BS. This 49ers organization should be embarrassed. Again, I was joking around with my buddy Bob Sargent that very first day of training camp that I was down there last week. And I looked at that fan section and I went over and I told Bob, I said, Bob, could you please get those fans a little bit further back? Like just joking that they were so far back to begin with. I'm like, there might be somebody from Seattle filming something and sending it up to the Seahawks. Could you get them maybe, could you seat them in Livermore by any chance? It stinks when fans think they're getting something and they walk into a situation and it's totally something different. This is not the year to go to 49ers training camp because, again, the 49ers have just reconfigured their fields. They're trying to figure it all out. I don't think they actually have yet, but I can get this is wholesale happy advice for all of you. Never, ever, ever, ever get on an airplane to go to training camp. Ever. Never get on an airplane to go to training camp. It is not worth your time. It is not worth the effort. It certainly isn't worth the money that is involved in all that. I mean, even if you're a billionaire, you're wasting your time going to training camp and having to pay through the nose to do it. You will not be satisfied. And I don't know how other NFL teams with more space, bigger properties are handling it, their fans. But I will say the 49er fans that have been at training camp have not been treated great. Have not been treated great. And the fact that, cheerleaders are sometimes there, most of the time not. There, coincidentally, when NFL Network is filming everything, yeah, that kind of sucks. There's no doubt about that. Anyways, I do appreciate, the honesty in what some fan is saying there. And I'm sorry that it happened. I like everyone's sporting experiences to be fantastic. But yeah, that whole situation is it's built to fail as it's currently constructed. Damn, what a crock, right, James? Doesn't that suck? Sam Bruno Mike saying 49ers out there catfishing. Damon, a real one. Thank you, James. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Whenever they do a great job, I'll tell you. Whenever I feel like you're getting screwed over and you shouldn't be spending that to do that and you're not going to get your money's worth, if you spent $40 for a face value training camp ticket, sure, go down with very little expectation and have a good day and watch George Kittle run around and be an awesome Niner. It's kind of cool. But you'll be as far away from the field and maybe even further away from the field of play at training camp than you would be at Levi's Stadium if you bought a ticket to go to a game in some situations. And there's not a lot down there. There really isn't. There's not a lot down there. You're watching half a practice and you're watching practice through a fence of people. And those people are fully padded NFL players. So you can't see an awful lot. As I was saying, when Larry and I did a little wake up recap last night, the number one question that is always asked among media members is, who threw that? Who caught that? Because you just can't see through all the layers of people. And it's so far away. And we're at bay as media members, and we're on the field. The fans are another 80 yards behind us. So, sorry. It sucks. Silas Copeland, I'm guessing this is about Upton Stout saying he will not be able to cover top tier slots. Hey, let's watch a game before we start ruling about who can do what, right? I'm telling you, I doubt him and his size. Then he put his pads on. Then you see how physical he is. And when you're that physical and when you're that unafraid, I'm not about here to frame anybody as to what they are not going to do. I see opportunity to be good in Upton Stout, not a whole bunch of this is going to be embarrassing coming out of that guy from early on here. Marty, thank you very much. He's asking everyone to like and subscribe. And if you would do that, I'd certainly appreciate it. We are marching our way towards 46,000 subscribers. We're just a couple hundred away from that benchmark. I want to be at 50,000 subscribers by the bye week. I want to be there by the bye week. Congratulations again in order to Kruger, who I do wake up with. He just went over 60,000. That is phenomenal. I'd like to catch up. I've done a pretty good job keeping pace. I'd like to catch up even more. I'd like to make Larry a little uncomfortable. It's good to see so many of you. Again, thank you so much for coming on in today. You can spend your precious time anywhere. You can watch anything, and you choose to spend it with me, and I hope I make that worth your while every single time you do it. Hit notify, and that way you'll know every single time I go live, and you won't miss a thing. You certainly won't miss a great lunch when you walk yourself into Ike's or have Ike's delivered. And boy, I hope you're around in Ike's or live in a delivery location, because it's the fastest growing sandwich situation in America. It's got to be. Delicious sandwiches from my man Ike. He has been an incredible sponsor of this channel since the day it launched, and I thank him so very much for doing that. And you will know why I am proud to sponsor Ike and be sponsored by Ike. And you're going to take a bite of that sandwich and you're going to be like, damn, that is really, really good. Never hesitate to get extra Godfather sauce on that bad boy. I don't care what you're eating. I don't care what's on that sandwich. Extra Godfather sauce, I think, is the way to go at all times. And certainly the way to go is to sign up for that Love Rewards program, kids. Sign up for the Love Rewards program. You get a free sandwich when you sign up. You get prizes and purchases, free chips, free drinks whenever you order. And check out Ike's Catering as well. Check out my good friends Kenny and John, who are usually behind the bar at the Dubliner West Portal, pulling the best Guinness in all of San Francisco. Love those guys, and trust me, you will love the Dubliner. Great guys, great bar, great neighborhood. Maybe the most underrated neighborhood in all of San Francisco. Seriously. West Portal's awesome. It's where I get to bump into my man Smiley Dan. I see Smiley Dan at the Halfway Club out on Geneva. I see Smiley Dan at the Dubliner, and I saw Smiley Dan at the park the other night. We had to put a picture up, by the way. Always good to see Smiley. Everyone wanted to know how if we had a safety meeting. Let's just say I believe everyone arrived to the game safely enough to not have to conduct a safety meeting right there at the third base bar. But it was great seeing Smiley. It was great running into you. And the ball. Yes, Mrs. Plus was there. She loved seeing Smiley Dan as well. As soon as Smiley Dan walked away, Jillian leaned over and she said, I love that guy. I leaned over and I said, I love that guy too. That guy's just an awesome dude. And then, of course, the organist played a little, whipped out a little deal by the Grateful Dead. I got up from my seat to go get a hot dog. I see Smiley Dan again. I'm like, did you get that deal? He's like, hell yeah, I got the deal. Seriously, Smiley Dan and I, we share the same mind. We hear things, we see things in the same way, and we both really appreciate quality safety meetings. Good to see so many of you in here. Look at this. Look at all these friends. It's incredible, this little community that we built. It's amazing. If you're new here, like and subscribe and become a part of this. Please do. Great people. Good, like-minded folks. Let's see. Big Brick 84 says both rookies and veterans make mistakes. Agreed. One is supposed to be in the fewer category, and the other is in the understandable category. Again, when you're a rookie out playing NFL games, the pressure that you're underneath is extraordinary. You know, there will be rookie mistakes and there will be veteran mistakes, but there better be fewer veteran mistakes than ever before. And that's why Robert Saleh is back in the room, right? To make sure that those veterans are helping coach up those rookies to avoid those rookie mistakes as often as possible. It is day 2 in pads for the San Francisco 49ers down in Santa Clara. Day 2 in pads. Hopefully everyone stays good and healthy today. I know the Cowboys got a little bit of a scare yesterday, thought that they had a torn ACL along their offensive line, which would have been the second in 2 days. Just a strained knee, no torn ACL there. So they're, relieved that happened. No, you don't want to see anybody hurt in training camp. Robert Saleh was asked yesterday, what can you glean from the first padded practice? And Saleh said, and I quote, I'll be honest, the first padded practice forever has always been the most disappointing day of the year. Not to say today wasn't good or anything, but everyone gets hyped up for the pads, and I think guys did a good job protecting one another. They came out and they competed. It was a big day from a load standpoint. It was a good protective day. There's no way they go as hard today as they did yesterday, or they have the volume of reps today that they had yesterday. Yesterday was a heavy load day in pads, and I think today will be less, which means it'll probably be a little bit more violent since it's not going to be, a 6-session long practice with 2 full first team versus second team, first team 11-on-11 sessions. They finished the camp yesterday with 2 11-on-11 sessions. And that's a lot. You're getting like 30, 40 reps in each time. So that's an awful lot. Today, there'll be less of it. And it's probably the right thing to do. Nobody get hurt. Again, any day in training camp where there is no injury is a good day at training camp. What makes it a great day is if everyone had a really good practice as well. But you cannot have a great day with an injury. So the bare minimum of was this a good day of training camp is simply, did you get out of it unscathed? You see these guys, they just collide with each other, and there's just so many hundreds of pounds going down to the ground and legs getting tangled. And man, it is, you can just see how perilous it could all become so quickly. What looks just like a normal routine play turns into 3 torn ACLs all at once. So be careful. Be careful. By the way, a member now for 19 months, Chardonnay Dog. Cheers from Tahoe. Cheers back to you, and thank you for being a member basically since day one. That means an awful lot. Thank you to all you OGs out there, you originals. One last thing to tell you about day 2 in pads for the 49ers. There's a new player to talk about. His name is Jalen Allen. He's a defensive end, and he's a former USFL Memphis showboat who is getting a shot with the 49ers. Can't body for the most part. His chances to make this team are far and few between. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you flash along this defensive line, it's going to be hard to cut you. The very first thing that Mr. Allen should do when he gets to the practice field today is to go out and thank Yetur Gross-Matos for never being on the practice field. Yetur Gross-Matos is basically a rumor at this point, and they needed to bring somebody in because that guy is never around. Never available. Allen is a 6'2", 240-pound defensive end who had 40 tackles, 7 for a loss, a couple of sacks, 2 pass breakups, and a forced fumble when he was playing at the University of Memphis. He then got drafted by the Denver Broncos. He was undrafted, but he was playing for the Denver Broncos as a rookie free agent. He then got released in August. He spent time with the Memphis Showboats and actually caught on in the UFL. And with the Showboats, he appeared in 10 games, 27 tackles, 1.5 sacks. Last year in the USFL, that probably translates to you don't even make the NFL team. But, good for a guy who clearly has been fighting uphill odds. You go to Memphis and you're trying to make it into the NFL. Then you go to the USFL, UFL, USFL, whatever they're doing over there. United Football League, UFL, USFL, whatever you want to call it. Junior leagues. This guy's coming out of junior college and then trying to get in, to the NFL. It's like coming out of a community college and instantly enrolling in Harvard. That's a big step up. So we will see. We will see what the future holds for young Mr. Jalen Allen. Good luck to you, young man. And there you go. That's what's going on down in Santa Clara today. I will be back down there at some point in time next week. Let a few days of padded practice go by, and then I'll check back in. And everyone should be even better and frostier and more ready to go as they get ready shortly for the Denver Broncos rolling in for some combined joint practices before their first preseason game to get the preseason underway. My man Otis said they should have kept the old XFL, even though, it was over-sexualized for some. Was that the USFL's? Was that the XFL's problem? Was it over sexualized? Was there too much cleavage? I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of XFL beyond the opening night, and that was the XFL's problem. Everybody leaned in because they were curious that first night, and then instantly was like, "Yeah, okay, I've seen enough. Oh, we're good. We're good." Zothmas, you're right. He hate me. That is the great contribution to the lexicon. He hate me. That was it. Yeah, it was the WWF of foosball. Yeah, I remember Vince McMahon coming out there and he's like, "This is the XFL." Like he did a weird rasp to his voice. Like, I don't know. I think he over-emoted a little. Anyway, yeah, we miss you, XFL. And when I say I miss you, I mean absolutely not at all. But they had the San Francisco Demons, wasn't that an XFL team for a minute there? Look, there is another story that is so incredibly serious. It's NFL adjacent more than it is an NFL story. But the NFL was targeted by a gunman in New York City. I'm sure you've already seen some of this story. It seems to be everywhere, as are, mass shootings. And folks, 4 people are dead. 4 people are dead because a gunman killed 4 people at a Manhattan office building before turning the gun on himself. It's the same office building that the NFL offices occupy. In a story about this incident, said that the gunman was trying to target the NFL headquarters, but took the wrong elevator. Investigators believe that, well, they know the man's name, Shane Tamura of Las Vegas, was trying to get to the NFL offices after shooting several people in the lobby on Monday, but he entered the wrong elevator bank. So he didn't get to where he wanted to go, and thank God that probably saved some lives. When I say that this is an NFL adjacent story, that's because his whole reason for wanting to go to New York to shoot up NFL offices, according to a letter or some notes that were found on him, a 3-page note found in his wallet. Every shooter needs a manifesto. A 3-page note found in his wallet suggested that he had a grievance against the NFL over a claim that he had suffered from CTE. CTE is real. NFL players suffering from CTE is real. This guy never played in the NFL. The NFL has nothing to do with his CTE, which I'm guessing is self-diagnosed. What you got here is a meeting of poor mental health care and poor gun laws that create a far too often toxic mix of crazy person with easy access to a gun. That's what's going on here. Not that the NFL did anything to affect this guy's life in any way, shape, or form. He played high school football 2 decades ago. There's an awful lot that probably affected him between his last high school football game and the minute he walked into a building trying to shoot up NFL headquarters. It's very sad. It's very gross. Again, I'm completely over the concept of solving this with only thoughts and prayers. Everyone always wants to say, well, after a shooting, it's the wrong time to sort of politicize anything. Well, not when politics are right at the center of keeping this problem ever present. Again, we are the only nation in the world that yawns at mass shootings. They've become so common. And shame on all of us for allowing that to happen and just, seeing clear and easy solutions that are workable and just refusing to approach them. Shame on all of us. back to sports, back to the toy department. And I want to talk just a little baseball because last night, when's the last time a San Francisco Giants rookie showed up and from day one, you're like, yes, this guy's a stud. This works. He fits. It's going to work. He's going to be a stud. It's going to be an all-star. That's our guy. Our top prospect has taken to Major League Baseball like a duck takes to water. When does that happen? Positionally, never. Brandon Crawford, Buster Posey. These are the last position players that have really worked out for the Giants. Maybe Brandon Belt, will put him in there too, okay? From a pitching standpoint, like you knew Matt Cain was going to be pretty good right away. But I don't remember watching Matt Cain make his major league debut and think to myself, oh, this guy's an ace. He turned out to be. I remember being in the park as a fan the day that Lincecum made his major league debut against the Phillies. It was like a Wednesday afternoon game, and Timmy got hit around a little bit. Wasn't a great major league debut for Lincecum, but it didn't take very long for Lincecum to let everybody know, like, oh, dude, just don't worry about that guy. He's going to be awesome. And maybe that's the way it'll go for Carson Whisenhunt. But Whisenhunt gave up 4 runs on 5 hits over 5 innings in his first appearance. Very choppy early, then settled in. So that was good. Hopefully a major league starter when he gets that third pitch. Right now, he looks like more like a bullpen guy to me. And this is the Giants' top pitching prospect. Kyle Harrison was the Giants' top pitching prospect. He's already been traded. Carson Whisenhunt, we don't know yet. I'm not going to get down on him. But, it wasn't. I don't feel like I just watched greatness make its major league debut. Now, I'm not holding that against him. I'm not saying he won't be great. But, Carson Whisenhunt, whatever. It's kind of how I feel about the whole thing. Okay. About as exciting as Hayden Birdsong's major league debut. Okay, you can tell there's a pitcher there. I don't know how many postseason games you want him to go starting. And the good news for the Giants is I don't think they really have to worry about postseason starts. As a matter of fact, I would start shopping Camilo Duvall and Robbie Ray right now if I am the San Francisco Giants before the trade deadline. I think any concept of fancying yourself a contender at this point is definitely fool's gold. The Giants are 13-22 since trading for Rafael Devers on June 15th. That's the worst record in baseball. So since Buster Posey made his biggest move as this team's chief decision maker, they've been the worst team in baseball. Now, I wouldn't undo the Devers trade. I believe if you flip over the back of that baseball card, that player is going to show up at some point in time. But Devers has been a huge yawn and a massive disappointment since putting on the Giants uniform, and he's done nothing to spark a little competency up and down the lineup. The Giants have lost 10 of their last 12 games to tumble to 4 games now behind the Padres for the 3rd National League wildcard spot. So, just going in the wrong direction. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why Pat Burrell has keys to the building still. How has Pat Burrell not been fired? And I don't know what you get when you fire Pat Burrell, like how much better the team's going to get, but you can't get worse than this. The Giants went 0 for 23 with runners in scoring position against the New York Mets. That, by the way, is why they were being swept. They got their date with Broomhilda. There she is. That might as well be the Giants team photo since playing the New York Mets. The Giants went 0 for 23 with runners in scoring position on their way to getting Broomhilded by the Mets, and it's the first time since 1931 that they went at least 0 for 20 in a series. Again, it's one thing to have a bad week. It's one thing to be disappointing. It's another thing for a bad month to sort of spit out negative results. It's another entirely when you got to predate World War II to find this many empty, bad, terrible approach at bats. You have to go back to pre-World War II to look at a Giants offense with less discipline, being more anemic than what you're getting with Pat Burrell being this team's hitting coach against the New York Mets this past weekend. It's time to go. It's time to let Pat Burrell go. Will this solve all the problems? No. But it's also time to hold accountability. You know, you can't have sleepy Bob Melvin doing absolutely nothing and Pat Burrell managing to put together some of the worst situational at-bats you've seen since the Great War. You know, I mean, come on. How much more Pat Burrell do we really need in San Francisco? Because ever since becoming, getting under the shade of Pat Burrell, Rafael Devers has basically forgot how to hit major league pitching. And the rest of the lineup around the guy stinks out loud. Are you ready to fire Pat Burrell? I mean, I don't know what that really gets you, but I am. You know, this is bigger than just a bad week, bad moment, bad situation, bad lineup, bad decision, no, this is bad everything. Stacked on top of each other, night after night after night, with limp-wristed at-bat following undisciplined at-bat following. Rafael Devers is the fastest 0-2 in Major League Baseball. Not since Joey Bart have I seen a hitter just start an at-bat 0-2 automatically. And you're totally right here, Patrick. Pat Burrell had a terrible approach as a hitter. Exactly. The guy was just a grip it and rip it dude, and he had stupid talent. Incredible talent. But dude, as a major league hitter, you know, Pat Burrell's approach was to swing hard and go fuck a chick post game. That's what Pat did. That's his entire reputation. On the back of his baseball card, it's home runs and chicks slept with. That's what he was known for. It's got to go. It's got to, but here you are. What are you going to do? You're going to let a guy go in August? How much better are you going to get now? Pat Burrell should have been an easy, let's go in another direction a month and a half ago. 0 for 23 with runners in scoring position against the New York Mets. Historically bad. You know, do something different. Do something different. If adding Rafael Devers to your lineup makes your lineup worse, it's time to talk about what the hitting instructor is doing. Like, Pat, what would you say it is you do around here? Time to go meet the Bobs. Yeah, E. Scott Burns, Bellarmine High School product down in San Jose. And no doubt he is friends with. Here's what I would tell Buster Posey. If this guy and you weren't super friendly, is he still your hitting coach? Is Pat Burrell still the answer? Get rid of the guy. Get rid of him. Broomhilda needs to be supersized at this point. Now, Broomhilda's got all the size you need in a woman. Look at this. Come on. Hold on. Where is she? Here she is. Come on. That's all you need right there. I remember I was doing this like right in the middle of like the Me Too movement, and I'd have a whole bunch of angry people. This is inappropriate. What's inappropriate about that? That's called funny where I'm from. That's funny. I know one thing about Broomhilda. She's got a great sense of humor to even pose. To lift the Hooters, to hold the broom, she's got a great sense of humor. I'm guessing there aren't a lot of great senses of humor in Schlumpistan or wherever she's from. This is clearly some Eastern European gal. You can just tell by the hang of the skirt. It's hardly a mini skirt. What do we got here? Mark Grace says Marah. Well, look, since you brought up Mark Grace, I guess it's time to talk about how a major piece of my childhood died just yesterday. Ryne Sandberg. I think the first major leaguer to ever crack $7 million a year. I remember there's a roll in a 7, and it was a picture of Ryne Sandberg on the cover. And oh my God, a major leaguer making $7 million a year. What kind of world are we living in? I think you pretty much get $7 million a start now if you're a really good starter. It's ridiculous how these salaries have exploded around Major League Baseball. But Ryne Sandberg was the practically perfect second baseman. He made errors in the field less often than Halley's Comet would come around to say hello. Like, this guy was just maybe the greatest infield defender at second base the game has ever had. And then offensively, this is pre-steroid era. This guy didn't take anything but, whiskey. Ryne Sandberg was au natural, as so many guys were back in this era. And this is a guy who absolutely had 282 home runs that are like more valuable than a lot of guys in the steroids era who might have gotten 400. 285 career hitter. 285 career hitter, nearly 300 career home runs, over 1,000 RBI, 300 plus stolen bases, a career 68 WAR, a 10-time All-Star, a 9-time Gold Glover at second base. He reached 100 runs 7 times. The guy was always on base. 25 home run seasons 6 times. 6 times he had 25 or more home runs, including 1984 when he won an MVP of the NL. He finished in the top 5 in MVP voting 3 different times, 7 Silver Sluggers. He had a 40 home run season. He had a 54 stolen base season. He stole 54 bags. Ryne Sandberg was an incredible athlete. One of 7 players with 280 home runs in his career and 340 stolen bases. One of 7 players in Major League history. You can't even fill out a lineup. So few guys have done that. And of course, the legendary Sandberg game at Wrigley Field, where he was just a one-man army against the Cardinals. He sent that game to extras, and he sent everybody dancing into the streets happy with a game-winning home run. Ryan, the Sandberg game, and I remember watching that. That was an NBC game. God, just right in the middle of my most sepia tone childhood memories. There's Mark Grace and Ryne Sandberg. Just right in the middle. Just right in the middle. You know how when you're having sex and you don't want to finish too soon, sometimes you start thinking about baseball. My go-to to this day, slow it down. I just think of Ryne Sandberg taking routine grounders at second and just throwing them over to Mark Grace. That's what I think of to keep the fun alive. That's probably an overshare. That's an overshare, but I wanted to share it with you, and that's the kind of community that we built. Clown man. See, I knew you'd like that. It's an overshare. Ryne Sandberg, rest in peace, man. I mean, what a rough couple of weeks for the 80s. Ryne Sandberg, Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, Theo from The Cosby Show, Chuck Mangione. That's rough right there. It's been a rough couple of weeks. Let's close the cycle of the doom loop, shall we? So there you go. That's what's going on today. Hopefully it is a smooth, easy, injury-free day 2 in pads from the 49ers. Keep your eye on your favorite content creators who are down there sharing videos. I'll be back down there a little bit later on. I got more videos from yesterday that I'll be posting today as well. So it'll be new to you, okay? New to you. Never forget to eat at Ike's. Never forget to go get your Guinness at the Dubliner West Portal. And never forget, if you want to know what the future is like, you better study history. Are you a student of history? I hope you are. It's time for Today in History. Not a big day from a birthday standpoint, other than this guy probably loves history as much as I do. Documentarian Ken Burns. I mean, whether it be the Civil War, baseball, jazz, this guy is one of the premier documentary filmmakers of all time. You know, hey, Ken, can you give us a couple hours on something? He's like, no, I'm going to give you 18 hours on something. 9 2-hour-long episodes to tell the story of the history of jazz or the history of Major League Baseball or the history of the Civil War. I mean, there's nobody who can grab your attention and hold it just by zooming in on black and white photos, telling some story over a fiddle the way that Ken Burns does. Happy 31st birthday to Dak Prescott, starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Not a big day for birthdays, but it is a very interesting day in history, going all the way back to 1936, where today, happy birthday to the Arc de Triomphe over there in Paris. The inauguration of the Arc de Triomphe, it would happen today in 1836 in Paris. I have walked up to the top of that thing. It's a lot of spiral stairs to get up to that thing, and you get up on top, and it's really cool the way that they've got the city of Paris just laid out, and they've got like all these, here's what you're looking at, maps from the top of the Arc de Triomphe. Very, very pretty. Very nice. I urge you to go to the top of the Arc de Triomphe. As a matter of fact, it might even be cooler than going to the top of the Eiffel Tower. Really. There's fewer people up there. It's a lot less crowded. Today in 1921, Adolf Hitler became the leader of the Nationalist Socialist German Workers' Party. The original Nazi. Happy birthday to the Nazis today. Never thought you'd be quite as in vogue and popular as you seem to be again. But today in 1921, we got Adolf Hitler. And then not long after, today in 1948, after a hiatus of 12 years caused by World War II, kind of Adolf Hitler's fault, the first Summer Olympics was held in 1936 in Berlin. That's when Jesse Owens went out there and just laid it fucking down on those goose-stepping, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Nazis. It was Jesse Owens in that moment might have had one of the single biggest let me show you motherfuckers performances in the history of sports. Like, I'm going to beat everybody on the track, and I'm going to let you know that your master race ain't as masterful as you think it is. Good times. Today in 1958, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, speaking of, World War II celebrities, Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act into law today in 1958. That means happy birthday, NASA. NASA created today in 1958. Again, kind of an interesting day in history. Gets even more interesting when you go to 1976, when David Berkowitz killed one person and seriously wounded another in the first of a series of attacks in New York City, where he was shooting like young lovers in cars making out. He would go on to be known as the Son of Sam. The Son of Sam was New York City's, it was as big of a topic as ever happened in New York City. There was the big blackout in 1976 in New York City. Then you had the Son of Sam hype. There you go. Today in 1981, I remember this as a kid. I was 6 years old in 1981. 6 years old. No, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81. I'm 7 years old. 7 years old in 1981. And I do remember being one of the over 700 million people who watched what I called at the time the fancy wedding. That was when Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, and Lady Diana got married at St. Paul's Cathedral in London. No follow-ups, by the way. They lived happily ever after, and it was beautiful, beautiful marriage. But today in 81, Princess Di and Prince Charles got married. It was a big deal. Speaking of big deals, and maybe means more to American popular culture than any royal wedding ever could. Today in 1982, or I should say tonight, late night in 1982, professional wrestler Jerry Lawler slapped comedian Andy Kaufman right on the face on Late Night with David Letterman. Everybody for years thought it was real and that there was an actual assault happening there. No, the whole thing was a setup by, a wrestler and Andy Kaufman. And brilliant. I mean, that was Andy Kaufman, I think, is the father of uncomfortable comedy, right? I mean, that's a guy who just pushed everybody's buttons and boundaries. And whenever you did it on Letterman, I was 8 years old. I didn't see it live, but I remember that highlight. Couple of big movies. 3 of them, as a matter of fact, came out today in 1983. First of all, happy birthday, Clark W. Griswold. Today in 1983, National Lampoon's Vacation came out. Beverly D'Angelo. God, that was great. Private School, which I didn't see in 1983, but when that came to HBO a little bit later on, that was some serious early boobs in my libido life right there. Private School on HBO. In the movie, I don't know how many of you seen. Okay, I'm gonna ask you for the comments to come in here. Do any of you remember the movie Crawl? The movie Crawl came out today in 1983 with the Glaive, which was like a throwing ninja star. This was like in between the future and medieval times, all at the same time. Really weird movie. But Crawl came out today. I saw Crawl in the movie theaters. Crawl was awesome. I thought Crawl was an awesome movie when I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. Here's to Crawl and everyone who remembers a little Crawl. Yeah, by the way, this is correct, Hand Banana. Liam Neeson's first big Hollywood role. Liam Neeson is in Crawl. I don't think I can name anybody else except for who's the British comedian who became a goose? And he wasn't Monty Python, but he was Monty Python adjacent, I think. Either way, happy birthday, Crawl. Today in 1988. Bermuda, Bahama, Come On Pretty Mama, Key Largo, Montego, Baby Why Don't We Go, down to Kokomo. Today in 1988, Cocktail came out in theaters. Cocktail is objectively an awful movie built around one of the dumbest plots, superstar bartenders of all time. Yet you can't get enough of it. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Everyone loves to hate Cocktail. Everyone loves to hate Cocktail. Elizabeth Shue loves to hate Cocktail. Tom Cruise probably at this point loves to hate Cocktail. Freaking Cocktail, baby. He was also in Time Bandits. Correct. That's the guy, the British guy who was in Crawl. And yeah, I'll see, Hand Banana. We're basically the same person as well. A lot of people had that Cocktail soundtrack. That's how Jillian remembers it. Jillian remembers Cocktail through the prism of the soundtrack. There you go. Finally, I don't know how they determine what national day it is, but today is National Chicken Wing Day. I've seen people hate on chicken wings, saying that, there's not enough juice to the squeeze. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that boneless chicken wings are chicken tenders. Those are not chicken wings. You got to be eating around a bone for it to be a chicken wing in my chicken wing scorecard. And even though the actual nibble might not yield very much meat, that's one of the best nibbles there is. I'm a huge chicken wing guy. I love the old-fashioned hot wing. Now, we can go teriyaki. We can go Asian. We can go, Asian spicy. I like that too. I like the flash fried salt and pepper wings as well. But ultimately, there's nothing better than the buffalo wing. The Frank's Red Hot and the butter. That's just fantastic right there. I don't need a spice level on my buffalo wing that turns the entire eating situation into a personal challenge. I like an appropriate amount of heat on my buffalo wing. And I'm happy about it. Super spicy wings. See, can we remove the word super? I'm down with spicy wings. I don't want super spicy wings. I don't want the kind of wing that makes me look like less of a man because I'm sitting there going like, don't want that. That's a bit too much. I like my spice to a point, but then we need to back off because we are just mere mortal men and we're not supposed to be eating pepper X. By the way, pepper X is officially the hottest pepper in the world. Jack wanted to know what the hottest pepper in the world. Ghost pepper is now like the ghost pepper, which used to be the Patrick Mahomes contract of pepper spiciness. Just like Patrick Mahomes' contract, it's not even in the top 10 anymore. The ghost pepper is not even one of the 10 hottest peppers anymore. The spicy pepper community is out of control. Absolutely out of control. And thank you. Thank you for watching today. It means an awful lot. We have over 100 people in the room still right now. Make sure you've hit like and subscribe. And moreover, hit notify and not miss a thing when we go live with videos or live streams. And we're going to be doing stuff in and out of normal hours because of training camp schedules, because of a few other moving parts. So just hit notify and you won't miss a thing. Thank you so very, very much for watching. It means a ton to me that you spent some of your very precious time with me this afternoon and that you might be planning on coming back tomorrow when we go live. Normally at 11 West Coast time, but tomorrow's one of those special days where I think we're going to do like a midweek wake up with yours truly and Sam Batesh and Larry Krueger. And we might get going around 10 a.m. tomorrow. So again, hit notify and maybe not be caught off guard by a special start time tomorrow to try to squeeze everything in to a time frame that we actually have. But thank you so much for watching. Again, thank you for hitting like on this live stream. Thank you for hitting subscribe. To all of our new members, our old members, thank you so very much. Oh, Anthony Lick Scorpion says, cheers to football season starting soon. Cheers to you. That $2 goes right in the ganja jar, and I thank you so very much for it. And I ask you all, please, just remember, it's really, really, oh, yeah, here, Otis Bird. There you go. Maximum Yeah, it's going to be happening. It's going to be happening. SGA, thank you very much. Yeah, the Carolina Reaper, it was hot. It's still in the top 10, but it's not nearly. It's the Carolina. The peppering community is going nuts in the lab at all times. It did feel like we were at maximum plus today. I will agree with you. And Dan Bow 88, love you too. Thank you, brother. Thank you to my sisters. Thank you to everyone for watching. And please do remember something that's very, very important. Sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.